Coben has been called the master of the suburban thriller. The best-selling author has written more than 25 books. More than 70 million are in print worldwide. His last 9 novels debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list. Now you're just showing off. Coben's new book is called Home. It brings back his iconic character, Myron Bolitar. Bolitar tries to unravel the mystery behind the kidnapping of 2 boys 10 years after the crime. Harlan Coben, welcome back to the table.
How are you guys? Good to see you guys.
Now, listen, it's called Home, and you've got 2 boys on the cover.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, it starts with the return of one of the boys, and the other one is still missing, and then it's off to the races from there.
Right.
What really happened? Are they dead? Are they alive? And you just took us on such a wild ride with the parents on both sides.
Thanks. Well, that was the
Parents'
idea.
worst nightmare, too, by the way.
Yeah, so you have both sets. So you have 2 kids disappearing when they're 6. At 16, one is found, but one's not.
Yeah.
So you see what happens when a kid comes home and when the kid's still missing. The pressure on both families. That's what I wanted to start with.
The dynamics between the families, was there affair in the family? Did the nanny do it? Were the parents involved? I mean,
Yeah,
you really do. You took us up and down. What I learned about you, Harlan Coben, is that you like Bruce Springsteen,
Yeah.
and you like Hamilton. I like that you have very topical references in the book.
In the book, yeah.
Yeah, I love that you do that.
Yeah, well, actually, Lin-Manuel Miranda was a reader, and my character had always listened to musicals, and I said, well, wait to see the next book what he's listening to.
Yeah.
So it was a real thrill.
Because he takes out the lines of Hamilton on some of the songs.
Yeah.
But this may be my new phrase for somebody that I think is a jerk: a vainglorious asshat.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking of somebody. I can't think of who when I came up with that terminology.
I like it.
Now, home is New Jersey, and the Garden State is in a lot of your novels. Why is that?
It's where I grew up.
Yeah.
You know, I think New Jersey is the perfect sort of battleground of the American dream. You know, you kind of go out there and you get your picket fence and your 2.4 kids, but where dreams come true, they can also sometimes darken into a nightmare, and that's what I like to play with.
And how do you develop the plot lines for a book like this? Where does it come from?
I know the beginning and I know the end. I compare it to driving from my home state of New Jersey across the country to California. May go Route 80, may go via the Suez Canal, may stop in Tokyo, but I always end up in LA.
You do. You know the beginning and the end. You knew how this was going to end.
I did. I knew right from the beginning. I know. Fooled you with that last time.
Before you start writing.
Before I start writing, I know the ending. Yeah, I always know
And
the
do you
ending.
brainstorm with somebody, or like how do you develop that?
I talk a lot to myself.
You do?
You know, we spend a lot of time alone in our room, writers.
And do you a lot of research?
I don't do a ton.
Right.
I do it as I go along, because I find you slow it down. Research is much more fun than writing, so I'll take the
Is the
time.
challenge story development or dialogue?
Story development for the most part. Dialogue comes easier for
And
me.
I turn to politics only because you don't really talk about it much, but when you sat down, you referenced Bono.
Yeah,
And you said that Donald Trump is a crowd pleaser in a piece.
yeah. Well, I think that sometimes he's going for the shock value when he's speaking. So he's talking and he's thinking, and the audience isn't reacting. So what can I say to get the applause, to get people to pay attention? And sometimes that's when you go off script.
Yeah, you say sometimes when you're giving a speech and you see people are looking at their phones, or you try to course correct in the middle of it.
Always, don't you?
Yeah, well, yeah.
But not that much.
I actually do, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually
And they say
do.
that the best speakers can read an audience.
Yeah, you're reading the audience, exactly. And they look a little bit bored. And if you take that and you take it to the 10th degree, that's when you can really kind of think.
Is there something similar in terms of writing a novel? I mean, I think about you always
Definitely.
want. Yeah, I mean, you want a page turner, as Gail was saying.
If I'm reading it, if I'm getting bored for a moment, I mean, I want you to be gripped on every page, every paragraph, every sentence, every word. I ask, is this compelling?
And so how do you do that?
this is
How do you do that in terms of making them at the end of one chapter to leap to the next chapter?
I write as though we are sitting around a campfire in the old days, and if I'm boring you, someone's going to pick up a club and whack me with it. I really have to make sure that you are gripped. If you start this book at 10 o'clock at night, I want you at 4 in the morning to curse me because you had to stay up.
No, but listen, the first line is, the boy who has been missing for 10 years steps into the light.
Yeah.
And I was instantly hooked with that. As a parent, you think that's your worst nightmare, that something would happen to your child.
By the
And
way,
you said you
look
do
at this. Look at this. Look how Gail reads the books, guys.
yes.
Harlan.
I know.
Harlan,
Harlan.
She's a
It's unbelievable.
Gail, how long
Thank
did
you.
it take you to read that book?
Well, I did the train up to Washington and the train back, and I sat
you're
and
a
I read
wonderful reader,
it.
thank
No,
you.
I really, really,
Thank you.
really liked it.
Thank you.
The ugliest truth is better than the prettiest of lies, you're right.
I do. I think that. Ugliest truth. Because the ugliest truth, the truth's going to come back, man. I mean, so you better face it sooner rather than later. And that's part of what this book is. The ugliest truth is better than the prettiest of lies. We got to face the truth even if it's ugly.
And he writes in Uber cars, too. I like that.
Yeah,
Your
sometimes,
technique is
back to
writing in
cars.
Uber cars.
Yeah, wherever I can do it.
Harlan Coben, always a pleasure. Thank you for
Thank you.
being here.
You
Thanks,
have
guys.
another bestseller.
Yep. And Home is on sale now.